Okay, so we have to rebuild the carbs on this 77 Evinrude 115. So I'm rebuilding the top one right now, but I'm gonna see if I can teach y'all how to do it too, which it's pretty easy. If you ever have rebuilt a carburetors before, this is easy. But for people who have never rebuilt any carburetors before, I recommend using one of those disposable cooking pans and rebuilding it in one of those so you don't lose anything. It's actually a good idea to do even if you have rebuilt carburetors before, because there is a good amount of tiny pieces in there. But anyway, you take off the 4 screws on the bowl, and then if you don't have a rebuild kit, try not to rip your gasket. I don't have a rebuild kit, so I'm gonna try not to break it. Anyway, it doesn't look too bad in here. Here's our float. It's working properly. This motor did run pretty good, but I'm just rebuilding them because a lot of people say on 2 strokes, if your carbs are dirty, you will have a lean fuel mixture, and it might burn out your motor, which I have a few burned out 2 strokes, and it kind of sucks. So and I just bought this motor for the Thunderbird, so I'm gonna try not to mess it up. But what you need, so when you have the carb all the way apart, I have it mostly apart right now, you want to look through the jets and see if you can see through it. That one you can. I think you can see that. Try to blow through it. I'm still gonna spray through all the passages, even if they are easy. Even if you can see through them, spray through them, because if there's just a little bit of stuff in here, it can make your engine not run right. And I bought this motor from a guy that used it for a few years with no problems. And on these motors, if you're looking at the front, this is the front with the choke. If you're looking at the front, there is a screw right here. There's a little O-ring around it, and there's another screw right there, and there's a little jets in there. So take those out and then spray them through with carb clean, brake clean, whatever you have, and I will be back with some of that. Okay, so I have brake clean because it's the cheapest stuff. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your carb, you're gonna take the jet, And you're just going to spray through it. And I don't think it's spraying through, so I'm going to take it out. The screwdriver's too big. Okay, so now you just unscrew the jet. Look through it like you did the last one. Try to blow through it. I can blow through it. So, while it's out, spray through the passage it was in, just to make sure. And then you can put it back in. Then you can do the same thing to the other side. And don't strip out the top of that jet, or you're gonna have a very bad time. I have done that before, and it's not very fun. Your carburetor is pretty much not junk. You still might be able to rebuild it, but if you can't get that jet clean with it in there, it's pretty much junk unless you can get that jet out and replace it with a new one. And you can buy like whole jet kits on like Amazon or something. So if you ever want to downsize your jet so you don't have as much power, so like if your kid's using like if your kid has a go-kart or like a dirt bike or something and you don't want it to go that fast, you can downsize the jets to a little bit smaller. You can just buy individual jets if you want to, or you can buy whole jet kits. So this one, I can blow through it, but it's a bit hard to blow through, so you're just gonna, like I said a million times in this video, spray through it. Now, it did have a little bit of resistance in it. I felt it, and it cleared up. So it was a little dirty. Now that you have all your jets clean, or all your jets out and back in after you sprayed them out, spray through these emulsion tubes, make sure they're not plugged up, make sure they're not cracked or anything. And it's pretty easy. You can see through the sides if they're not plugged up. You still want to spray through the middle there. And that one's clean. So everything's sprayed out, and you sprayed through everything. Sprayed through everything, sprayed through every single hole you could find. So here you see those little things in there. Spray through everything. Spray through every hole you can find, even if you don't think it does anything. Spray through them just to make sure. And little side note, this is pretty cool. It has a build date on it. was made in March 22nd, 1976 is when this carb was built, and this Evinrude is a 77, so that checks out. And it's about the same for like almost every carb. So even if you were looking for a carb rebuild video for something else, it's pretty much almost the same for every carb. And it's just take everything out, spray everything out, and put it back together. And it's that simple pretty much. Make sure when you put your float back in, make sure it is working properly. So how you do that is put it back in, just like that. Put the little pin in. Put the little pin in. Now your float is doing that. Now find the, actually, once that's in, put everything back together, the gasket, the bowl, just like this. Very hard to mess up. Put it all back together, put the screws back in, the gasket back in, and here, right here is where your fuel line goes. And what you're going to do, once you put all your screws back in, is you're going to blow through that with the carb facing upright, how it's supposed to be, and then flip the carb upside down. And if it doesn't let you blow any air through when the carb is upside down, then your float is working properly. And do that like 2 or 3 times just to make sure. Also, don't over tighten these screws, because this is just aluminum. So you do not want to over tighten them. So you should be able to hear the float working. So and it is working properly. It's probably not the best for your health, but it works. So there you go, you got a rebuilt carburetor without a rebuild kit, because I'm cheap. And I did not rip any of the gaskets, so it should work perfectly fine, and I should have a good motor. I hope this helped. Bye.